Hello and welcome to Penelope's Pocket Flosstube episode number 5. It's Saturday, 24th of April, and I'm filming this on a Saturday as I usually do. This will be uploaded on Sunday along with the website update, so you won't get to see this till tomorrow, but yeah, film on a Saturday. So, 3 weeks and Easter has been in between. And I had a lovely Easter, actually. We travelled and visited family and friends. We had lovely lunch with some close friends on Good Friday, not that far away from here. On Saturday, we went to my sister-in-law's and we saw my mother-in-law and took her out for lunch and to a National Trust house for a wander around. Sunday, we were here with our children, had a lovely leg of lamb, traditional Sunday, Easter Sunday roast, which they all cooked. And Monday we went to see my parents, and my brother and sister-in-law and my niece were there. So a lot of travelling for me, but travelling is fine because that involves sitting in the car, and I can do a bit of knitting, and no pressure on me to cook or entertain. So it's been really nice for me, and I hope you've all had lovely Easter breaks too. A quick one on I'm conscious of my appearance. Every hair is actually Good Hair Day because I have hair. I'll talk about that some other time, but it is going a bit wild at the moment, but it's there, so I'm happy, really. I missed 1 week of chemotherapy since I last saw you because my liver function has not been adequate, and then the following week, which is this week that's just gone, obviously still not operating properly, so instead of my 3 usual fills of poison, I had 2, so I see this extending this period of chemotherapy for the breast cancer. It's perfectly understandable. I have only just finished, really, chemotherapy for my acute myeloid leukemia, so my body is taking quite a full whack. I'm very conscious that my cheeks are very rosy. That's a side effect. My hands are dry and cracking and also very red. That's also a side effect. The sniffing, I hope it doesn't come across too much, but that is also a side effect because you lose the hairs in your nostrils. Is this too much information? And it definitely affects. I'm conscious of sniffing, so I'm sorry about that, but that's all part of the side effects. Anyway, enough about that. On to much nicer things. What am I wearing? Quick, because I've got so much to talk about today, and I've spoken enough about the ranunculus sweater. You all know how much I like it, how many of them I've made. I finally blocked this one with its 2-tone cast on, cast off with my pink trousers. I've worn this quite a lot over Easter. It's just been the right weather for it, and I love it. And there will always be another ranunculus on my needle at some stage. What am I drinking? Well, today I have, very appropriately, a Liberty mug. It's actually old stuff. Look, 2000, year 2000. So this is after I'd finished working there, actually, because this is after my children were born, or actually one of them was born this year. But and this, it ticks 2 boxes for me because I think now the Liberty commemorative mugs are made by Emma Bridgewater. And I have lots of Emma Bridgewater mugs as well. You'll see those no doubt at some stage. But this one is a Paul Pottery one. And if you think back to episode 1, I have a Liverpool pottery. So this was good on 2 fronts. So I'll have a sip, because I think, as I said before, as soon as I start speaking, my mouth goes dry. Now, I've been asked by a couple of people, and I did say that I would talk about how I started Penelope's Pocket in one of these episodes, and today is the day. So, where shall I start? If you're a maker, like I am, and you wear the things that you make and your friends see them, you probably have experienced the same as me, that friends who don't make, don't knit, don't sew, are in awe and are always saying to me, "Oh, you could make that, you should be selling that, could you make one for me?" And it's always been a smile and wave sort of answer from me, because unless you are somebody that does make things, I don't think you have any idea how long it takes to create these things and the costs involved. I don't buy very, very expensive yarn. I mean, I have looked at projects sometimes, and the yarns that are required are beyond what I would want to spend. And so, but I do use nice yarns. I like using good quality commercial yarns. And so the cost involved in the raw materials alone, probably more than you would spend on a similar item in the shops. And that is before you even factor in your time, and knitting takes a long time. Dressmaking, not so much so, but yeah, fabric's expensive and it is a lot of time and effort. So I make things for my husband, my children. I make things for my mum sometimes, my dad, I knit him socks, and a couple of close friends, I've knitted shawls for them for special birthdays and things. But I don't, it's something that I've never done. So when I first got back into cross stitch and I started watching Flosstube and became aware of the whole project bag thing, I wanted one, and I guess I knew I could make myself one, but I think probably like a lot of you that buy from me, I didn't want to make a project bag. I wanted to concentrate on my stitching and enjoying my stitching and not use my time making bags. That wasn't on my horizon. So I bought a couple, and I bought them through Etsy. And I want to be as diplomatic as possible here, but I was disappointed with both of them. So they both came from different makers. I don't think either of whom still make project bags. I haven't seen them. One of the ones that came, I was particularly interested in the vinyl fronted ones. They were what I was looking for. I felt the vinyl was not very nice quality, and although the fabrics that the lady had used were nice, one of them she'd used upside down, which to me was just so glaringly obvious as soon as I unwrapped it. I still have that one, and I do use it. It's got some things in it, but it was a little bit of a disappointment. But I persisted and I bought another one. And the next one that came, yes, it was better quality vinyl. It wasn't brilliantly made, but the most disappointing thing was it was just put in an envelope, no tissue paper, it wasn't exciting to open, and my heart sank a bit, and that shouldn't really be how it is, should it? So this was during, well, it was in 2020, so it was during the first lockdown period here in England, and I think I was on furlough from work. I couldn't, I couldn't work. I work in a school. The school was shut down, and my year group didn't actually return to school. They did homeschooling, so I was off of work for quite a long time, and I think there was a time when we were allowed to go out and walk, meet friends in gardens. I can't remember. I followed the rules. I'm a rule follower. And so I didn't do anything that I shouldn't be doing. And I remember meeting a couple of really close friends in our local park and going for a walk and going back to one of their houses for a coffee in the garden. And I don't know how we got talking, but they had that thing. They said to me again, you should make things and sell them. You're so good at it. And suddenly there I was. I found myself with time on my hands and an idea, and I had actually also inherited a very small amount of money from an aunt the previous year, which I'd put in an account because I thought I should do something with that. And so in the back of my mind I thought, I have that money, I could try, because I there was quite a lot of stuff that I needed to buy. Material. It's a huge thing setting up even a very small business. There was so much to think about, and so it was very good for me at that time, because what else was there to do, So it gave me great focus, and Penelope's Pocket was born. Now you're going to ask me about the name. Penelope is actually my daughter's name. Inspiration came to me in the strangest of places. I'm not going to say where because, you could perhaps guess. And hanging on the wall, embroidery thing that she'd done at school with her name across the bottom of it, and I saw the name Penelope. And the word pocket popped into my mind because pockets historically were worn by women underneath their dresses. They were sort of like they would be on a tie. And for many women, that would be their only place to keep their personal items that were relevant to them. They didn't necessarily have the privacy and the freedoms that we have today, and so that idea of the pocket, of not a pocket as in your trouser, but a pocket as in something that you keep precious things in, and the alliteration, obviously Penelope's Pocket, that's what did it really. So therein came the name, and yes, the buying of all the equipment that I needed, my initial fabrics, my initial idea of what I wanted to make. I didn't want to go down the Etsy route. I am extremely fortunate that my husband, I'm going to stop calling him my husband, Stephen, he loves computers. So my website, he wrote that himself. He coded it completely himself. So I've been very fortunate because I do have a website, and he has made it phenomenally simple. You will notice that it never comes up with cookies or anything like that. I don't have cookies. It's an incredibly simple one-page website, really easy to navigate. It doesn't have, if you buy from me you will know this, it doesn't have a basket function because that's a lot of coding, and he doesn't want to do that. And so if you want to buy more than one bag, you buy them individually and I refund you the postage difference. If you buy in the UK, I think it's £3.45 now. Postage covers really as many as you can buy. if you live abroad, the States particularly, it's all done on weight, and so it sort of goes up incrementally. I think 3 bags cost the same amount as one, but it depends on whether you include thread keeps and scissors and all those sorts of things as well, because it all goes on weight. But there's always a refund to come on the postage that you overpay because you buy several times. So yeah, I feel very lucky to have that website, that he's made it so that I can take pictures on my phone and I can upload them really easily, and I can change messages and all sorts of things. So yeah, and obviously that's a big cost saving as part of a business as well. So I've been very lucky with that. And when did it start? I guess it was 2020, wasn't it? It was the summer of 2020 that it went live. And actually I meant to check my book, because I think on that first day I sold one almost immediately to a lady who, hi Karen, who does still buy from me actually, which is so lovely. And I did mean to check my book, because I think of my first probably dozen customers, they all still buy from me. And I feel that my bag making skills have progressed quite a bit since those early days, and it's so lovely that people come back for more of my bags. So I think that's probably enough information about how I started it. I've got in a pile here the order in which everything I introduced and some of my prototypes, so I thought I'd go through that and show those to you. So we're still on the Penelopes Pocket chat at the moment. Just pick up these on my lap. Not dropping anything, it's all piled very precariously. Okay, so the naming of the bags, named after important women in my life, basically. So this is my first prototype. This is the Caroline bag, which is my mum, who has been so instrumental in the whole of my knitting, stitching, crafting life, really. It's the way I've been brought up, seeing my mum, my grandma making things. So it had to be Caroline, didn't it? So this is actually my prototype. Yeah, this is my picture, isn't it, on Penelopes Pocket. This is my, whatever you call the ID thing, which has come from this bag. This is the first bag that I made. It's got something in it as well, looks, I still use it. I learnt a lot making this bag. This bag is not perfect. I don't like that you can see the back side of the zip through the vinyl here, so I've refined that. I've refined my zip, put her in a ring. I think I do a much better job of that now. But that clarity of vinyl was so important to me, to use really good quality vinyl, and that has been a real issue for me because it's really difficult to source now. I do understand why I'm seeing a lot of glitter vinyls and things like that, because this is difficult to get. I do still have enough to keep me happy at the moment, to be able to continue using this. And it's also become difficult. Comes from America, and was there a fuel crisis or something to do with lorry transports, or there have been all sorts of reasons why it's been difficult to get in the UK. I have bought it maybe once or twice from people, and I don't think that I've bought what they advertised because it wasn't quite as clear. But anyway, so this was my first. This is what I wanted. I based the size on the ease of getting a A4 pan into it, basically. So while I've got this in my hand, I might as well show you what's inside it. This is a super old project. and I've no intention of picking it up at the moment because there's actually still masses to do. But this is, I'll show you patterns in here. This is English Garden by Samplers Not Forgotten, and so the glare. I bought this a long time ago when it was first released. Well, it's in this bag, so a long time ago. And I have, there's a lot of stitching in this. A bit closer to the camera. So I probably can't show all of it at once. There's a nice crease down there where it's been in the bag for such a long time, but you can see how stitch heavy some of these areas are. This is on 40 count XJU Designs. It's a cafe au lait, was it called, or something? I can't remember exactly. It's long before I even used to write things down. I think this predates my book of days. This is such a long time ago. And I have actually got quite, I was looking at it yesterday when I was getting all this stuff ready. I am up to here, I think. So I've actually still got quite a bit higher to go. Quite looking forward to getting over to this floral motif over here. Probably can't see it very well. And the bird and the alphabet up here. They'll go a bit quicker because they're not got quite so much coverage. So yeah, that this is not on my this is not something that I'm intending to work on imminently. Yeah, it's not calling me, basically. So that was the first thing that I made. I think I had 6 bags in that first update. Yeah, so Caroline bag. Next up came the Erica bag, which is also my mum's name. You saw me sock knitting. I've got the sock knitting bag. This is one of the early ones that I made, which is fun. I use this one in the summer, funnily enough. It's covered in sunglasses. And I use this in my handbag, because I've got quite a big summer bag, for all the things that otherwise I'd be rummaging in the bottom for. So I might put my phone in here, my glasses in here, and my hanky in here. It's got a really nice blue lining in it. So as I said, I don't make these anymore. They're fiddly to make. I didn't sell an awful lot of them, and so there is one on the website still, just one. But she's a goner. I don't do her anymore. But I do enjoy using her. I think these are the only 2 I have, the sock one and this one. But as I said, there are a few of those out there. That one was next. So everything that I make is born out of things that I would like to have. And I'd seen people making, using, selling, they call them thread beds. I'm a bit matchy. I like things to match. I didn't like the idea of making them to match every bag. So I began to think, well, could you make one that you could move from bag to bag? I've made these for quite a long time now, so I can't really remember my entire thought process. But I just came up with this idea that you could DIY it, you could do it yourself. So there was born Mabel and Elsie. And I'll show my Mabel. So this is my Mabel, and I think I described her as part Penelope's Pocket, part DIY. And the idea is that you are doodling with thread. She is made out of Mabel. This is Mabel, isn't it? She is made out of 32 count. Would that be Belfast? vintage country grey. This is Art fabric anyway. She's floppy, she's not rigid, she's floppy because of the linen. Let me see that clearly. She's got a sticky lining. There's a magnet up here. I think there's a pin on there and a pair of my Merchant and Mill scissors sitting there. Some old threads. You can see how low I take some of my threads. I told you I play thread chicken a lot. Some tiny ones in there. All the ones that I'd seen had a popper fastening. Well, mine aren't up to that because they're not strong enough for a popper. So I was just going to leave them folded. And then, I don't know, I just had this desire to have this flamboyant bow on it, which you can either use or not use. They're very, very much handmade. I've only just gone round them with a bit of zigzag on the machine. But I love the opulence of the big bow. So my one, I've got a Dutch sampler book. I think it's quite a well-known one actually. So I pick the motifs out of that book and add them to here. And I use the threads on a project that I have maybe just finished. And I just flick through and think, what would I like to add? So there are all sorts of different threads used on there. I think there's some sulky, there's some silk, there's some DMC, there's some overdyes. I couldn't tell you now which project they've come from. I do remember that chair. That chair was really difficult to stitch. I think I had to unpick it a few times. I literally just pick out motifs that I like and check whether I can fit them in. I would say the front now is done, is covered. The back is plain, but I will add some more to this. I'm particularly fond of this one actually. This is the one that I use most of the time. I think it looks really nice. Can you see? Ooh, the colour's gone. Motifs on there, the teapot. There's a little dog and a key. Another teapot. I've also got a thing about teapots. A swan. Coffee pot up the top here. Crown. Vase of flowers. Pear. Love that pear. I suppose potentially they're difficult to stitch on. I'm an in-hand stitcher, as you know, so I only stitch from the front because you can't, because they are made. You can't really see, can you see the outline of the stitching? I don't go through to the front. I just pick up and yeah, I find it very doable. Starting and ending the thread as well is not a problem for me. I might start with a pin stitch and then end by threading it what I think is through the back. Haven't had any problems. So that's Mabel. I've also got an Elsie, which I should be ashamed of really because I haven't really done much stitching on her. So Elsie is the pink one, and that's vintage country mocha, and it's 30. Is it 35 count vintage country mocha? That's what I got. This motif came from the same Dutch book. Oh God, it's got a hanging thread on it. I haven't even finished it. Somebody, and I think it might have been Christina at White Iris Naps, did a stitch using these two colours together. I think this is dried sage. I can't remember what this one is. And I thought how lovely they were and how great they went with the binding that I've chosen for those. So this one here is just going to be this design. If I can find it again, I don't even know which one I was stitching. It's such a long time ago since I've worked on this one. Have I been using it? Yeah, it's got some thread in it, so I've been using it, and a needle. So I have been using it. And I think on the back, I'm going to do initials, my initials. Do you remember last time I showed you in my book of days that I have grafted out various types of initials? I thought it might be quite nice to put them on here as a reference as well for when I want to add things to projects and I want to initial them. So yeah, I have plans and it will be lovely, but just not yet. So that, oh, I didn't say, did I? Mabel and Elsie are my grandmother's names, although ironically she was never called Mabel or Elsie. She was only ever called Tim. It's a long story behind that, but Tim was her name from childhood, really. So after that, I applied to Merchant and Mills to the wholesale department to be able to buy and sell their scissors, and I was absolutely thrilled and delighted when they said yes, because their products are amazing, and I'm only a little bag maker seller, and I was honoured and delighted that they said yes. So I stock the baby bow scissors, which you saw in Mabel there, the little tiny black ones, and I do have quite a few of those. I think they look really nice on the thread keeps, and they're just really good quality for the price. I think they're £6, unbeatable really. So I stock those, and I also stock these ones, which are the gold work gold scissors. They're a little bit bigger, yeah, but beautiful. And so that was the next thing that I started to sell. I don't think I'll go. I have looked at other things that they provide. Their wax is very good. That's not what I want. That's not me. I don't think there's anything else in their range that I would think, oh yes, I should stock that. But these scissors are really beautiful, and really well priced, I think. So I've just done another order for these recently because I've been selling quite a few of them. They are really good scissors. So that was the next thing that got introduced to Penelope's Pocket. Then, really born out of my own pile of project bags that are next to where I stitch in the other room over there, falling over because they were getting a bit out of control. I felt like I needed something to put them in, and so Gertrude was born. And this is actually my prototype for Gertrude. This is the first one that I made. I'm getting much better at prototypes by now, and so it's pretty much perfect, this one. This is a Rifle Paper Company canvas, as most of them are. This is another one like the Alice print that is a bit of a classic, and it comes and goes. I haven't seen this one for a long time. I have sold a few like this. I don't know, something about that print I really love. And I found in my stash a really lovely lining for it. I can't remember what make that is, but yeah. So that was my prototype. I was pretty happy with how this came out, and so this is pretty much how all Gertrude bags have been since, actually. This is an empty one at the moment. I was counting them this morning, as well as my white one, which I'm using at the moment. I've got this one and two others. Because there you go, I love them a lot. That's a Dorset horn sheep. I'm from Dorset. That's by Katie Greenbean. I think I bought that probably at the Unravel Wool Festival in Farnham some years ago, because I like to put things on my bags, so that's been on there for a long time. So that's Gertrude. Gertrude was my nan, so another very important figure in my life, and a real wiry workhorse of a woman. And this is a workhorse of a bag. You can get loads of stuff in it. And so another very important woman in my life. There we go. She was not a knitter or a stitcher or a sewer, but she was phenomenally musical. She was somebody who, without a lesson, could play the piano by ear. Yeah, quite a skill. And there are some quite musical people in that side of my family, and I am not one of them. That's Gertrude. So after Gertrude came Dorothy, because by this time I had amassed quite a collection of vinyl fronted Caroline bags, and I began to hanker after a full fabric bag. So along came Dorothy. I'll say now before I forget. Dorothy is one of my dad's sisters, a very important aunt in my life, and also my godmother, very close to her, and so another very special person in my life. And so I named Dorothy after her, although she was always Auntie Dot. Dorothy was her name. This is my prototype for Dorothy. This fabric came from a Jane Austen range, and the fabric was called Penelope. It was a no-brainer, wasn't it, really, that I had to use this. I love it. I cocked it up completely. Oh, should I use that phrase? Too late. Because I made it upside down at the back. And that wasn't a construction thing, because if you look, you can see I've put my Penelope's Pocket, which side is it on? Yeah, stamp. It's a bit faint there. And I stamped that on upside down. So I obviously wasn't really looking at the fabric properly at all. But this is my prototype. This is the first one I made. See how it went. I've changed the interlining that I use since making this one, and I think they're more successful now that I've changed the interlining. Now this one, and oh, Una outside barking, sorry. I use this, and in no way do I say you should ever use your Dorothy bag for this, but I keep my my laptop in here on my desk when it's charging, to protect it. It fits perfectly that way. It's a bit short one way. It obviously it isn't made to protect a laptop. For me, it stops it from getting scratched, keeps the dust off of it. I sit with it on my lap. When I was an inpatient in hospital for all those months, it was in my Gertrude bag alongside all my other project bags, having quite a lot of protection from all that stuff around it. I usually even charge it by just pulling it out slightly and charging it on the side there. Now, ironically, this morning, because this bag was in that pile and it needed charging, I had it on the chair, and I heard a crash and a tinkle, and I thought, oh, what's that? And I cannot believe that something had moved. Well, the weight of it had slid. I don't know what had happened. It had slid off of where I was charging it, and something fell on it, and it's got a scratch on it. And I thought, this is just crazy, Sarah, because you always charge it in the case. Anyway, the case obviously, well, it did work, didn't it? I shouldn't really have taken it out, but there you go. That's how it happens. A glass bird fell on it. How the glass bird, well, I haven't looked that closely. It didn't break, I don't know, but it definitely scratched the top of the laptop. Never mind. So that's Dorothy. Okay. After Dorothy, I came across the fabric that I used to bind Mabel and Elsie. Somewhere completely random, I found that in another colourway, and I thought, oh, I should get some of that. So it's a lilac-y colourway. And so Joan was born. Joan is one of my grandma's sisters, and I have very fond memories of visiting my Auntie Joan. And so, as it was grandma's sister and grandma is Mabel and Elsie, it just seemed right. So that is Joan. Now she is made out of, I had to write it down here because I don't have a Joan, and in actual fact, if you've been looking at the website recently, you will see that they are not on there at the moment anyway, because I when these floss tubes first started, I had a run on them and they all sold. I have all of the ingredients to make more, so I'm pretty certain next time I will, that's what I'll work on, that there will be more of those to come. And Joan is a 32 count Belfast vintage country cream. I looked that up. And she has a lilac border and bow. So that was Joan. So she's more recent. And of course, you all know, because this has happened since I started these floss tubes, that my latest addition is Isabel, which is my drawstring top bag that I think is multi-purpose. One lady has told me that she's using it to take all her nice underwear on holiday in, folded over at the top. So it's really multiple purpose, as well as being, well, a knitting bag or whatever. And I'll show this one because I have one left. And this one, so this one is actually available. Just this one. This is the one that I pieced at the top and has a lovely bright lining. It's got some nice wear on it, this one as well, I noticed just then when I was looking at it. I do like them when they're worn. Of course I can't see it now, can I? Oh, it's got a really cute little repair just there, which somebody has done on it. But I did see, oh yeah, here. I mean, they are well loved. See that? They are well loved quilts. And I'm very excited to say that I have sourced another one, a really, really pretty one, which feels to me really summery and is very worn and has got lots of patches on it, which I think makes it quite exciting. It's sort of quite florally on one side and quite spotty on the other. And again, I'm having fun choosing some linings that will reflect, yeah, the two different sides of the fabric. So that's Isabel, and Isabel is my other daughter. I felt that she'd been sorely neglected from this whole Penelope's Pocket thing, as it's named after her sister. So that's Isabel. So she's unique, everyone unique, just like Isabel. There we go. So that's my Penelope's Pocket talk, and we're at 42 minutes. I knew that was going to take quite a long time, but I hope you found that interesting, of how a little business gets off the ground and grows. And it's important to me to keep it simple. The less you do, the better you get at each thing. I don't want too big an offering. Yeah, I don't know what's next. There might be something else, there might not be. Depends what I crave in the future. So that's the story behind Penelope's Pocket. So I have a notebook. I'm not referring to it because I feel quite organised today. We're going to go on to what's in the bag. So, as I said, a workhorse of a bag, my Gertrude bag. Still on the white bag. Still loving this bag. Okay, let's go through what I've been up to. You saw me knitting on the sock. I had a full day at the hospital yesterday. I had to have a kidney function test at the Royal Marsden. My poor husband, Stephen, there all day with me, too far to go to drop me, to bring me home. I had to have blood test after blood test after blood test over a period of time after they'd injected me with something, which proved to be very difficult to do, which took a long time as well. So I was there most of the day yesterday. So I did quite a bit of progress on his sock, but I'm not going to show you that. You saw me working on that just a minute ago. I think I'm almost ready to start doing the heel flap on that. More knitting. The Lola pullover. So close to a finish on this, but not. I could see myself wearing this at Easter, but didn't quite get there. I'll show you. Well, I think it's nice. I think it's going to be worth all the effort. Let's get it the right way around. I think, yeah, that's the right way around. So, yeah, look, nearly done. I've done one sleeve. I created a problem for myself because of that hybrid that I did between two sizes, stopping early, changing my stitch count. So the first sleeve, oh, what a nightmare. It took me ages and loads of having to unpick, trying to figure out where I was. But I have to say that the pattern, I was beginning to be able to read my knitting. The pattern was in my head, and so I was really making it up as I went, following the chart, but not the stitch count or the instructions, because they didn't fit in with the stitches that I had, but I could read it, so I knew where I needed to be. So I steamed the sleeve, I've got a marker in here somewhere, up to about here so I could try it on, and it wasn't long enough. So I don't know how obvious it is when I show it, the difference between this end bit here and the top bit where you can see the lace is more open. I think you probably can see that. So this will elongate a little bit more and open a little bit more, and I think that's going to be the perfect length. And then, yeah, this sleeve has gone so much better because I've done it once already, and you can see that's not been, it's been steamed up to here because that's where I tried on, but all this bit down here you can see is it needs opening up. It's on a complete no-no of 3 needles. You should never really knit on 3 needles. It puts far too much tension on the corner bits here, but well, it's working for me. So, well, you can see, look, you can see how close to finish it is. I could well be wearing this next time, but it is warm, actually. I think I was kidding myself to think that even wholly, full of holes, a merino combined with a kid silk is going to be warm. I've got plenty of that. I think I have 5 balls of that. That's my second. I don't know if it's finishable or not, actually. It might be. I might finish it with that, still leaving me with a full hank. I can wind that up if I need to. I've definitely been put off of hand-dyed yarns for garments because of the consistency of the dyeing. No offence to dyers at all. Mixing it with mohair, definitely you lose any, it conceals any differences in the hanks. But I do know that obviously I finished this sleeve with 1, yeah, I think the hank might have changed here somewhere, and I did this sleeve, and I know that there is more colour in that section. You might actually even see it there. There's more colour splashes in this section than in this section because it's a different hank. But the mohair definitely disguises that. I've got a cardigan that I knitted last year where the sleeves are different colours to the body of the cardigan because of this issue with hanks just being different. So yeah, commercial yarn might be the way for jumpers for me, and keep the really gorgeous hand dyed skeins for something like this, which only uses 1, or a shawl which will also only use 1. Super hairy as well. If you have received a bag from me and there's been a bit of fluff on it, that is not Una hair, that is Lola pullover hair, because it gets everywhere. It's probably floating around. I've noticed it on all the bags here. It's floating around everywhere. I remember when I was knitting back in mid to late 80s, I suppose, knitting with mohair was really popular, wasn't it? Those 1980s wild mohair jumpers, and I did make some. I don't have any of those anymore, and it wasn't a problem for me knitting with it, but in my Saturday job I worked with a lady who was an avid knitter and really loved knitting with the mohair, but it affected her. It used to get up her nose and irritate her, and I remember her telling me she used to keep it in the freezer to stop it from shedding and could knit with it that way. That's a funny memory, isn't it? But anyway, I haven't kept that in the freezer. That's just the way that is. Okay, so some stitching. What have I been working on? Well, I think I'll just take them out the order they're in the bag. I've got a new start in a new bag. Well, they're not a new bag actually. This is an old bag. I made this a long time ago. It's a Caroline bag. There's a story behind why this project is in here, because I have been switching my projects around. So there was a different project in here, which I'll talk about in a minute. And I have started Strength and Dignity, which I've been talking about starting for a long time. So just to remind you, it is the proper stitcher, and this was a gift from my Australian friend. And one of the reasons I started it was that it seemed very seasonal, because the cherry blossom has been out and I was drawn to doing some seasonal stitching. I've seen a lot of people stitching Easter, and I thought, well, actually, yeah, this feels nice to stitch at the moment. So I've made a start on it. Not a big start, but I think it's going to be really lovely. And that's what I've got done so far. The board. There we go. It's a small start, but I've left out a couple of the words because the words in the pattern are done in different colours. I'm not sure I want to do the words in different colours, so I'm going to see how it comes together before I make that decision. But yeah, I think that's going to be lovely. So that's been a new start. I won't show you all the colours again, you've seen all this before. And this bag, I think I called this bag April Showers. So again, well, actually not appropriate because we've had such dry, sunny weather. Certainly haven't had any incidents of blowing umbrellas like that, but such a lovely pattern. This is a Tilda fabric. I think this is one that I made in 3 different colourways and I could decide which one to keep, but I kept this one in the end, this beige coloured one. Love it. That's that. I have been doing some work on my birthday start, which I am really enjoying actually. And unlike Jean Donaldson, whose sampler was full of errors and you had to be very careful, I think Martha was a very accomplished stitcher, and the border is, well, it met, didn't it? Do you remember it met? And it met for a reason, because it's accurately counted by the original stitcher, I think. And so each of the motifs they're all the same. So I am working completely on the border because that's in my head now. I still haven't cut off that side bit because I need to get these motifs in here to get to make sure I give enough room before I make that cut. But I have progressed quite a bit actually. And I'm just working, while I'm enjoying it so much, I'm just working, I think with just three colours to get those light baubles in, or whatever they are. I did put some of that blue in I showed before. I haven't done any more of that. But yeah, so just I did quite a lot of this over Easter. I will put it down because I'm not a monogamous stitcher. I will not be cruising towards a finish on this, but I would like to finish the border before I put her away. I think that would be a good place to stop, especially because I'm enjoying it so much at the moment as well. So yeah, quite a bit being done on Martha Pudsy. Put her away. What's in this one? Oh yes, yeah, loving this. As you know, I thought this might be a finish, but I ended up actually concentrating on something else in the end. So this is my Parlour Pin Keep by Needlework Press. There's a lot of stitching in this now because that background is taking some filling, basically. All the stitching is done on the piece. It's just the background that needs filling in. Now, I said originally that I would do 2 of these, one of which would be the original full coverage piece, which was a reproduction of the original, and one of which I might do on coloured fabric. Both Trisha and Cindy have stitched this in different ways, and I love both of them, and I could see myself doing both to get those 2 different looks. Now, because of the cherry tomato fiasco, which is flamingo pink for sure, I feel like I've created a hybrid. I've created a hybrid between the original and a pink one. So it could be the only one I do. And while I've been doing that infill, which I like doing infill, I've been thinking a lot about how to finish it. So in the bag I have some finishing ingredients, and I really like the idea of putting it into a shaker, making it into a shaker pin cushion. But we can't get things like that in the UK, really. I don't think, you know, empty ones that you can then fill yourself. Well, not things that I came across. So I started to think of other ways that I could make myself a pin cushion out of this, because I'm a bit into pin cushions at the moment. So I have come up with the idea of using ribbon. So I found this ribbon, which is a beautiful woven cotton ribbon. It was not cheap, but beautiful, and I think it works. And I had an idea. So this will be the sides of the pincushion, and I had quite a strong idea of how I was going to do this, which has changed, which I will talk about when I talk about some finishing over there, because I have some finishing that has shown me that my idea for this I don't think will work. But I bought that. Also in the bag I have some potential backing fabrics. That one has been rejected, but I think this one, for the base, there's that same sort of coffee colour. I think that works. So that will be the base, the sides, the top. And I also, oh no, actually there's another one in here. I think I might have changed my mind. I found that bit of navy. It might, yeah, actually I think it might have a navy base. Picking up that blue there. I like blue and brown together. So yeah, there are 3 possibles in there. I think it's going to be the navy. And I also bought, which you're not really going to be able to see, some of these tulip Hiroshima needles, cellulose head pins, because I'm not going to be able to see that. I don't know the board. I don't want to open them at the moment, but they are flamingo pink tulips. So I thought with a white back. So I thought, you know, a couple of those in the top might just finish it off nicely, along with some usable pins. Well, they are usable pins, but some ordinary pins as well, because I use my pin cushions, most of them. So yeah, all the finishing, that's been part of what I've been buying as well, because I bought those. I didn't buy the backing fabrics, they were all ones from Stash. I did buy that piece of ribbon, which was a bit expensive, but I think will work if I change my ideas. So yeah, close to a finish on that one, but the actual finishing of it, yeah, Paisley's not finished either, and I did say that I would finish Paisley, but I have finished something, so I've got something to show. So yeah, there's still more in here actually. I probably will switch her out of here. This is Lily, as you know, and this is the leftover fabric from my crowned swan drum, which is my finish. I'll show show you later. And I think Lily will fit on there, and I think Iced Rose, isn't it, number 12 Stitch Co, is going to be nice for Lily. I think I probably have enough there to stitch her and back her with the Iced Rose. We shall see. So that's made its way into here because, you know, I've got to do that, Lily. I'm not sure, it might get switched out to another bag because, yeah, it might. That's going to crease in there. I'll have to redo that later. That's that one. Oh, and the only other thing in here at the moment is my book of days. And I won't show you this month's because I write all sorts of things in here, but I will show you May's because I stickered up May last night. Oh, I do like using the stickers. There's a bit of a variety of stickers there. A lot of those are from a John Derrian sticker book that I have. So there that is, all ready to go for next week, isn't it? Okay. And that's an empty Gertrude bag, so that's what I've been working on at the moment. Okay. Next. What did I say I'd do next? I am going to check my book actually. Oh, what have I been buying? I was going to do next. So this is something that I didn't buy, but that I was given, but that you will all appreciate. But he didn't understand why it brought tears to my eyes when he gave it to me, Stephen. This, because this year, after I think a 30-year hiatus, if you think back to when I talked about boxes, he bought me a Fortnum & Mason egg. And, you know, like literally, I told you the sell-by dates on those boxes that I use for my threads and things. It is 30 years since he bought me one. He does not watch my Flosstube. They are slow and boring, and he has to listen to me all day anyway. So he had no idea that I had talked about those boxes. And so it was a spooky moment when I opened it, and I was like, you're not going to believe this, but I have just been talking about you buying me these boxes years ago. Completely different, isn't it? Because it's 30 years since I had one of these. I have said to him, does he mind if I don't eat it at the moment? Because my taste buds are shot to pieces. Everything tastes awful. I do not want to eat what was potentially a very expensive Easter egg and just think, oof, tastes awful. The sell-by date on it I have checked. I've got till the end of the year. I'll stick it in a cool place and I will eat it when I can really enjoy it and appreciate it. So, but yeah, really, that really meant something. And then he had no idea why. But there we go. That was a Easter gift. So, what else have I been buying? Because I have broken my pattern buying no, haven't I? I did an order with Sue at Peakside Needleworks because I had a very, very strong feeling that I was going to run out of the caterpillar for the background of the parlour pin keep. I'm not so sure I am actually now. I don't know why I thought I was, but anyway, I couldn't risk not getting another twist of it, so I had to order that. And you can't just buy one thread, can you? Well, I can't. So I bought 2 charts and was heavily, I've looked at these before, I like them, but I was heavily influenced by Amanda, who is Alba Stitcher, who did a first Flosstube. I think she said, I can't remember how long she said it was since she'd done a Flosstube, which I found unbelievable, but my life has not been normal, so I guess a year goes like that, doesn't it, if it was a year. And it was so nice to see her. And anyway, she showed these, and there were 2 in particular that I really liked, and I have looked at before. So this is number 8, Fragments in Time, 2022, from Summerhouse Stitchworks. I thought he was lovely. So that was a must. I think she'd already stitched that one. And there was another one that I really liked as well, and that was just the berry basket. So I bought those two. I think they make really lovely little pin cushions like that. But I am wondering whether I might make some needle books, because my needles are getting in a bit of a mess. So I'm thinking that I could do with some needle books where I keep the different needles that I use, the different sizes, the different brands. And so I think they might be quite good for that. They're small stitches, aren't they? So we might see that in the future at some stage. And that still wasn't enough. So I also bought some fabrics. I bought, again from Sue, I think this is Shakespeare's Peddler, Teresa Vanette, Kitten Stitcher. Her son dyes fabrics, doesn't he? I guess Sue must have brought these back from Nashville. This one is 36 count muffin. I used the board to show the colours. They're small pieces because they're for small. That's just a really nice. In fact, I've bought another pattern actually, which I'll show in a second, and I think it might go on this. I don't know if you'll see the colour. It's just a really nice. I wouldn't say it's muffin. I would say it was more like biscuit. But that's for a small. That's a 36 count. I like 36 count. I also bought another one of hers, which is again 36 count, same size, and it's called Real Red. For me, not real red, real brick, actually, brick red. But I really like her. She's got two Christmas patterns that are white on red. One's deer, one's something else. I don't have the patterns. I'm not going to buy the patterns at the moment, but that's what went through my mind when I saw this. Quite fancy doing those, but I don't think it's red enough for me actually. So it's probably used for something else, but another small. And I also bought, this is 36 counts Weeks Tiger's Eye. Gosh, it's a gorgeous colour. No idea what I'll use it for, but something is going to look stunning on that. Really gorgeous. I don't think it's showing particularly well there, but that's a really gorgeous colour. This is Old Weeks. This is not the Zweigart base, and I actually really like the Old Weeks. I love the hand woven nature of it. It's not as even, it is more floppy, it is thicker and thinner, but I really like that about it actually, so I was pleased to be able to pick that up, and it is a glorious colour. Don't really see it showing so well on there. So, and then I bought another chart, which I think is that muffin fabric is calling out. Now this is from Samplers and Stitches, which I have a few of her charts, and suddenly made that connection in my head that it's you, Carol. And Carol very kindly had a discount on her patterns on Etsy recently, and I do have a few that I haven't stitched, but this one called to me. So I have bought this one, which is Christmas Morning. I really love it. I'm not sure about the font of the writing at the bottom, that it's quite me, and so I might change this about a bit. I definitely want to change these birds to what well, it's difficult to say actually, maybe they are robins. They definitely need to be more brown for me, for them to be robins, for them to be English robins. But really, really like this chart. I might do some of this border at the bottom, and I might put the wording on the back. Got ideas about how I might do that. Or make the sea and the snow a bit deeper here or something. I'm not sure. I am going to change it a bit, I'm afraid, Carol, but I really, really like that chart. So I see that starting there we go. Thank you for the discount, Carol. Very much appreciated. And very tempting. So I'll put another chart. Okay. What else have I been buying? So, not connected. I wasn't sure whether to show this or not at all, actually, because it's not connected with stitching, but it is connected with buying from other, well, artists. I'm not an artist. Independent sellers. And I have shared a couple of things that I bought from her before. A lady called Kathy Cullis, who is a painter based in the UK. I've got two of her pieces. I've got one of these ladies that she paints that I bought some time ago, and I've bought a miniature. Actually, it's right here. I could show it. I have shared this on Instagram. I bought a miniature painting that she did that I have shared. I haven't framed this one. I just put it on a piece of card, and it's on an easel that I made, which is a mess. It needs to have a much better stand to stand on. But I love her work. I have tried to buy things that she's made in the past, and they sell so fast. And I saw this picture, this painting that I'm just about to show you, and somehow she has captured one of my daughters. And I was, for reasons that I couldn't help, I was late to the update by, I think it went on at 7 p.m. and I don't think I was able to get on the website until nearly 7:15, and I had no hopes of being able to buy it because I've been on there bang on time before and not managed to get what I want, and most of the things had sold, but this one had not. So it was just meant to be, because somehow it's in the, where's my board? It's in the packet still. I don't want to take it out because I do have a frame for it. Actually, I'm going to frame it. She's captured my daughter. I showed it to Stephen last night, and I said to him, "What do you think of it?" And he gets scared by questions like that because he doesn't know what answer I'm looking for. And he went, "Oh, it's nice." I said, "What does it make you think of?" And he just said immediately exactly what I had seen. It has her hair, her eyebrows, her phenomenally pale skin, her face shape. So super special to me, and well worthy of the frame that I've got in mind to put it in. Yeah, absolutely. It happens sometimes, doesn't it? We went to the Singer Sargent exhibition, the fashion painting exhibition at the Tate when last year, I think it was on. That was heavily influenced by, it was you, Karen. I think you posted pictures, and I thought, oh, I'd really love to go and see that. And I had my cancer card, didn't I? So poor Stephen got dragged to all the things that I wanted to do. And when we were there was a portrait of a lady that was the dead image of a friend of one of my daughters, to the point that I looked at it and thought, oh my goodness, that looks just like her. Took a picture of it, sent it to my daughter. I was like, who does this remind you of? And it was like, wow, that is this girl. So it does happen sometimes, and she will have no idea that somehow she has captured my daughter. I must send her an email actually, because she's a very lovely lady. I enjoy receiving her emails and things. She's a writer as well. She writes short stories, so she's an incredibly talented lady. So I thought I'd share that. So that's something that I've bought that's not stitching related. Something that I bought which is knitting related, which I said I wasn't going to buy any more yarn, was I bought 2 balls of this Lang Cashmere Premium, and I have been itching to cast this on because I'm going to make a Sophie scarf. Now if you're a knitter, you cannot not have seen the Sophie scarf by Petite Knit. I have made a few. I've made one for each of my daughters, one for myself, one for one of my daughter's friends who very, very generously through her job got us rather expensive tickets to something very special and gifted them to me, and so I made her a Sophie scarf in return. I love knitting them. This one after I showed my I forgot what it's called, scout shawl, and I said I saw more small scarves in my future. I've knitted the big one before, but I actually have also the pattern for the tiny one. So 2 of these balls will do the small one that goes around your neck twice. And I'm loving that colour, and I'm itching to cast on something super easy after my Lola pullover is finished. I will finish the pullover first, and so that is what have I been buying, naughty Sarah, and plans. So that's going to be the start. So that's plans. And then while I'm talking about plans, I have more plans. So I'm going to do some dressmaking. I had to clear out the room where I keep my dressmaking fabrics for something that Stephen was doing. He thought he might be making a mess, so I had to move them, which made me go through the box of fabrics and think I could do with a new top. One of the medications that I take makes my skin super sensitive to light, so I need to have long sleeved things to be covered. I don't want skin cancer as well, which is what it says on the box. If you don't keep yourself covered up, I've got enough cancers, don't need any more. And so I came across this Liberty fabric. I haven't had this one that long. This post dates my time working there. It's a relatively new one. And I have enough of this to make a Merchant & Mills top that I've got the pattern for. I didn't bring down. Very simple, very A-line gathered, no buttons. I'm not into buttons and hooks and fixtures and all fittings and all the rest of it. Just simple sewing. And then because a lot of my clothes don't fit me, I have lost so much weight. So a blouse. And then I came across this piece of silk satin, which I did buy when I was working in the silk fabric department at Liberty. So we are talking many years ago, and it's just been sat there. It's an oyster silk satin. And I'm just going to make a drawstring gathered skirt with pockets. Again, it's a Merchant & Mills pattern. I have made it before with a silk. It needs to be something fine because of that drawstring, and you know, it'll fit me, and I think it'll look really nice with this as an outfit. So that's a plan. I don't know when that's going to happen because time. And then I came across this ball of yarn that I bought some time ago, and I bought it because I just love the colour so much. But only one of them. It's a lovely yellow, and I looked at it and I thought, yeah. Now I think it's thicker than the cashmere. It's I think it's about the same length as one ball of the cashmere. I think this might make a little Sophie scarf that will just go around once. If you know the pattern, there's a bigger one that goes around twice and ties, and there's a tiny one that goes around once and ties. Because I have a could be too much information. I have a port fitted for vein access for my chemotherapy because I have had so much vein access. I have a needle phobia. It's not been good. I have had so many devices fitted in my body, and a lot of my veins are no longer so usable, and it's fitted in my chest here, and it has a freaks me out, has a tube that you can see through my skin because I'm thin, which I don't like, and I certainly don't want other people to see. So yeah, and I have to keep my skin covered anyway, so I'm thinking a little scarf will help with all that, because that's my life at the moment. So that's a bit of plans. Don't know whether they'll happen or not, but I would like them to. Bag update. So excited about these bags. Let's have a bit of my tea, which will be stone cold, but I don't mind cold Earl Grey actually. Liberty. So I just went wild. I feel like I've created like a collection, a catwalk collection of bags, because I have never used so many fabrics from the same collection before. It's this Lazenby cotton that I've used before, that I've commented that I think is a new cotton, which I've really enjoyed working with. So I knew that they were going to be good. So let's go, so you can see what's coming. So I started off not on the Liberty run, but this fabric called me from my cupboard. I don't know why I felt like I wanted to do it, but it's a Christmas one and it is super cute. I've had it for ages. I can't tell you. I mean, some of you might recognise it. Can't tell you what it is. But they are woodland animals. So I think we've got a bear and a hedgehog and a fox and a deer. What else did I see on there? Bear, hedgehog, fox, deer. I think that might be it. Yeah. So these are obviously Dorothy bags. The coral called to me, probably because I'm making Christmas bags in the spring. I don't know. This is a alpaca pom-pom. It's a bit fluffy and hairy. It might shed a little bit. Super soft and drapey. Alpaca is a lovely yarn. And inside, again, something that I already had that is not part of this fabric collection, but I really liked it. Look at the little bunny lost in the woods. Look at the mole delivering the presents and the mouse decorating the tree. You know I like linings. I thought that was really super. The colour and the woodland theme continued. So, rosy cheeks. Lainey commented, love the rosy cheeks. So there we go, rosy cheeks. Project bags. They'll be on the website now. Obviously those faces much too big for a thread keep, but I thought that was really nice. Difficult to show these because they reflect the light, but there's a little poinsettia and Christmas flowers in there, so that's the thread keep that I've done to go with those. So they'll be available now on the website. Just those ones. Now on to the Liberty collection. So when I very first worked in Liberty, I worked in one of the branches locally, and I remember vividly there being a scarf, a silk twill hand-rolled scarf called Tree of Life. I bet they still make it in a more modern colourway, and I loved it and I desperately wanted one, and in my mind I might have even bought it, but I don't have it, so I didn't buy it. Obviously it must have been just a big wish list thing of mine. And I came across this fabric, and this fabric is, I can't remember what the collection is called actually, but Tree of Life, this is what it reminds me of, that scarf all those years ago. I've shown these on Instagram. The more I've worked on them, the more I've seen in them. Yeah, love them. I bought all the colourways basically, and spotted, I've tried to show it on the Instagram pictures, but the bird is the most obvious. I think when I bought them, that's the one that I saw. But then as I started working on them, I started spotting others, like we've got a tortoise here. Trying to look in the camera, it's not easy to see them, they're difficult to spot as it is. The lemur with his tail here. There's a frog. The frog is really well disguised actually. Where are you, frog? Oh, down here in the corner, look, we've got a frog here. And there's a super cute chameleon. Love the chameleon. Where are you? Doing what you do so well. I can't see him. I really like, the chameleon was sort of my favourite, and I wanted to make thread keeps out of him. Oh, there he is there. But he's got a super long tongue and it just didn't work as a thread keep, so he's not a thread keep. This one is lined with a leafy print from the same collection, which I really like. and has all the thread keeps for these Dorothy bags all use the lemur because he makes for a nice thread keep. So there's the thread keep for this one. I'm trying not to get the light on it. There he is. Okay. And then if you like matchy things, I made a Caroline bag out of one of the coordinating colours. And you know, how fantastic is that fabric? Because to me, those are sampler trees. And the back is this really glorious fruit print from the same, all from the same collection. Love it. The yellow tassel with a copper sparkly bit. And I thought that these just, well, I mean, they're the same collection. Look how fab they are together if you like matching things. Yeah, really pleased with those. Dropping stuff. And that, which one is the thread? I've shown that one. That's that thread keep. So the thread keep for the Caroline bag is a couple of the sampler trees there. How well you can see that. So that's the first colourway. Then this one, I can't remember what I've called them. It will be apparent on the website, I'm sure. So this is another colourway. Obviously same fabric. I'm not going to point out all the animals again. I picked out the green for this and the purple. What colour did I put around there? Oh, it's a green, sparkly bit around there. Love them all. This one actually has the sampler tree lining to it. It's really nice. And obviously a lemur thread keep. And this blue stripy tail. There he is. There we go. And then this is the last colourway. Tassel's got a bit crushed on this one. Dropping. I think I might have called this peach actually, because there's quite a lot of peach in this one. I did a cream zip. This tassel, I have just about enough of this yarn left. This is a hand dyed yarn, and it's got stellina sparkle in it, so it's a sparkle. It's a bit wild, isn't it? Look, it's curling up at the edges. It's got some sparkle in it. Actually, is this a bit weird? I made some socks. So these are socks made from that yarn. And this is, I made these a long time ago. That's the leftover yarn from that. I think I just about have enough to be able to do one for each bag, but it's a bit of a cute look, sticking up at the edges. And this one has, what lining? Oh yeah, this has got the leafy lining again. Lovely. I don't make anything that I don't really just want to keep for myself. You heard them all dropping. What have I done with the thread keeps? There he is. It's the same again, it's the lemur. I probably shouldn't really need to show them all, but there he is with his stripy tail. You can well see him. That one. And then one more Caroline bag, which actually matches this one because it's the same colours, if you like your bags to be matchy. Like I do. So this one, I do play around with the colours. Sometimes I use the back here, sometimes I make the fronts all the same. I think I used all the same on the other one. It's just how I feel it works, how I think it looks the best. So this one uses the sampler tree, which is a That's just perfect for us, isn't it? And a very traditional Liberty florally design combined. And that one has a mercerised cotton cream tassel with a apricot-y pinky coloured zip. And the sampler tree thread keep. There we go. So yeah, I feel like I've created a collection. This is definitely the Liberty edition of Penelope's Pocket, this one. I'm really pleased with all of those, and I am keeping one of those because I love them, and when I was working on them, they made me think of a project that I started a long time ago, that was in the April Showers bag. It's a big project. It has a lot of threads, so the threads have always hung separately in a separate place to the project, which doesn't really match the bag. It's just the bag that I did for it. I feel that my project matches one of these bags perfectly. I'm keeping a Dorothy bag. I have lots of Caroline bags. I can't justify keeping any more Caroline bags. And the thing with the Dorothy bag is that you can get so much more in it because it expands. And so I have managed to get, even though there are a lot of threads in this particular chart, I've managed to get them all into the bag, whereas I used to have to keep them separately because it didn't expand enough. The Dorothy bag, the Caroline bags don't expand as much. And so I am keeping one, and I'll share that next time because I'd like to put some stitches in on it because I haven't worked on it for a very long time. So that's that. Right, so we're nearly at the end. It's very long. I've been told not to worry that it's long. I knew it would be long because I knew I had a lot to say today because I haven't been on here for a long time. But I have a couple of finishes. One old stuff thing that's relevant to the finishes. And I have the winner of the Saju Threadwinder giveaway to announce as well, which I managed to figure out how to do myself last night. So the cut-off date was last night. I hadn't had any comments on that last video for quite a long time, so hopefully that's all okay. So my finish, well, I've got two finishes, one of which I've shared on Instagram, so you've seen already if you follow me there, one of which I haven't. So my finish that will involve more talking is my crowned swan drum for my breast cancer awareness piece. Didn't necessarily intend to fully finish it, but I was on a roll, and I have another piece that was gifted by a very dear friend that is also very much relevant in my mind to what I'm going through at the moment. So I do have another piece that I want to work on that is important to me at this stage in my life. So I'm pleased I finished this. So here she is. Not going to see the sparkle of the crown, I know. I've tried various times to show it on here, but it doesn't. But she does have a gold crown. You can see it on Instagram with some of my pictures. I did sign and date it. It's got my initials sideways here. Blowing out, isn't it? Let's see. Because I did it in the... there. So my initials and the years that I said that I would put, 2024, 2025, these years that I never thought I'd have to deal with. So there she is. I spoke about the fact that I had a pin. This is an antique pin. I think it's probably... I don't think it's Victorian. I think it's probably Edwardian. That doesn't necessarily show it any better, does it? Get it closer. Yeah, it does maybe. With diamantes on it. And that pin, the top screws off. At some stage it must have had a variety of She shows better against my jumper there, doesn't it? It must have had a variety of different tops that you could screw onto the base. And that is an anchor, which is a symbol of hope, isn't it? And strength. Pretty appropriate, I think. So I knew that I wanted to put that on the top. I decided on the velvet top. This is a Lady Dot Creates velvet. I think it's called Shallot, and yeah, I think it works because of this adobe thread, which has that same colour in it. And I talked a lot about whether to do the stitch top or not, and while I'm working on things, I think a lot about the finishing, actually. And so what I have ended up doing is making a pinwheel, which is something that I've sort of relatively recently discovered vintage ones and what they are and what they're used for. So I'm going to take it off so I can show it to you. I was up late last night finishing this off, actually. So I stitched the top over one, quite enjoying over one stitching. I would have said I didn't like it at one point, but I'm quite enjoying it at the moment. Oh, I didn't show the base. So the base is so I backed it with a piece of that. I just make things up as I go along. I don't really know what I was doing. So I had a cotton reel, a very old cotton reel, next to where I sit because I'm lazy, can't be bothered to get up and get a compass or find anything. And it seemed to be just about the right size to draw around. So I drew around on card, went round the edge, put some batting underneath so it's a soft surface, and drew it together. And then I remembered that I had some felt in my Sajou box that I showed, and so I cut out some rounds. I used up the felt that I had, which was a very, very pale pink because it was for the rabbit's ears that I made. So I cut around and I managed to get 3 layers, which I have put in between the 2 discs. And then I did a it's called herringbone, isn't it? I used the silk to do a herringbone stitch to pull the 2 discs together, leaving me with the felt in the middle, which I can then push these rather beautiful pins into. I can't remember what make these were. These could have been Kahana pins. They're glass, 2-tone glass headed. They were expensive pins. I mean, they are beautiful pins, but they were expensive pins. So I just stuck some of those in there. So I've made myself a pinwheel, which I'm, yeah, pretty pleased with, actually. I need to do something with this ribbon. I probably need to press it in some ways because I just folded in half a piece of ribbon so that I could attach it to the top here. Okay, be careful, I've punctured my velvet with my thick stick pin. So I talk a little bit about the finishing of this because it's not perfect, and there are a couple of reasons why it's not perfect, and I'm not showing too bad there. I'm not 100% happy with it. So number one is that velvet is really difficult to work with, isn't it? We all know that. It has its own pile, plush, and it is tricky, and I have got some gathering going on there, which I'm not entirely 100% pleased with. I was trying to think if I've dressmade with velvet over the years. I think I probably haven't. I've used it on needlepoint cushion backs. It is difficult to work with, there's no doubt about it. And I think I said after the success of this drum, where I followed the Blackbird design instructions, and I really like the way it came out, I used this method to make this drum. And there are two reasons why I think it didn't work. One is the velvet, and two, it's big for this method. It's much bigger than this one. And so that leads me on to showing you a past finish that's also from the diorama, and that is this piece. This is a big one. This is Leela's studio. I think it might be as simple as SL 1862 sampler. It was 2 charts. You could either buy the sampler chart, I bought it when it came out, I think, whatever year that would have been, or there was a small version, which I've seen a few people stitch recently actually. And I did this, well, I have dated it, in 2020. And I used the charted Gentle Arts Simply Wool threads. So it must be, well actually, I need new glasses. It could well be 32 count because the threads are thick, but it could be 36 count. I'm not sure now, too long ago. But it was the Simply Wool threads. And I love it. And I have a bit of a claim to fame over this one because Brenda, as in Brenda and Laura, Brenda and the Serial Starter, talked about this finish on, I think it might be episode 13, so quite a long time ago, of one of their floss tubes. Can you imagine how I felt when she mentioned it, and she mentioned my name and really liked my idea of finishing it as a drum? It just meant the world to me. And it gave me quite a few followers at the time as well, because she talked about me. I absolutely love it. The base, this was, I followed the Bonapfeifer tutorial to make this one. This is a Stacey Nash strawberry, and this is the first strawberry that I ever made. I didn't know anything. I mean, strawberries don't exist in the UK, it's very much an American thing. All of my family thought it was an ice cream. I didn't, I just did it myself. And I used the butterfly from the pattern. On a piece of, here Una again, on a piece of the fabric and a piece of green wool and a button on the top. I didn't really know what I was doing. I think it's, yeah, there are more strawberries to come. I do like them. I don't have any strawberry patterns, but yeah, I'd look up this time how to make one so it doesn't look like an ice cream. But anyway, that sits on the top of there. And this one, yeah, has a cardboard top. So it's filled with sawdust, and it's a big thing to fill with sawdust. And over the years it has, it's become a bit squishy maybe. But you do get a good finish by using a top, by using a cardboard top and then puffing it out with concentric layers of like a batting. I use curtain interlining because I do a lot of curtain making, so I've got a lot of that left over, and I cut them smaller and smaller and smaller circles to get that nice dome. But of course the issue is that you cannot push your pins in very far because they hit the cardboard, which is what I really liked about the small one. But anyway, it's all a learning curve, isn't it? I've learnt that size is relevant, and what you want to stick on the top is relevant. But yeah, so that's from the diorama and is a past finish, and yeah, something that I'm still very fond of and rather proud of. There we go, put that down there. While I'm talking about these finishes, I'll talk about some old stuff, because this is something that I've had for many years, And I've just realised what it is. I bought this from an antiques fair pre-children, so I've had it for a very, very long time, and it is just beautiful. I don't know that I'm going to be able to show it. It's beadwork. Does that show? And it's in really good condition. It was a really good find. I had no idea what a good find it was at the time. Well, I knew it was lovely, but these are all beads, and it's on velvet, which is not really even worn that much. It sits on my dressing table and has done for many, many years. And the other side is different. I mean, I just thought it was a beautiful thing. Look at the bead. I mean, the beads in this bit here in the centre are so tiny. Again, it's the brown velvet. But the sides are a ribbon, which again is in incredibly good condition. Because I now know what this is, and I now know that they don't very often look as good as this. Because this is, I think, well, please correct me if you think I'm wrong. This is a pinwheel. So you would have stuck your pins in. So the ones that I've come across more recently, this is all damaged and holy, because over many, many years this will wear out. And this is what I've tried to recreate here. I mean, I didn't have very much felt, so mine's a bit flat, but that's the idea behind pinwheels. Be able to pop your pins in there and store them through the felt. I don't know what this one is stuffed with. I've no idea. But yeah, that was quite a find. Now I realise what it was, and the quality of the workmanship and the condition of it, really. So old stuff inspiring new stuff. There we go. That's that. So one more finish that you will have seen on Instagram. I finished Jean. She's done. And I love her. And yeah, I finished that alphabet at the top. I put my initials, as I said I would. I fitted them in down here, over one, my initials and the year, although I've been working on her for a long time, so but that is the year that she's been finished. And I took the font for these, for both my initials and the year, from these letters at the top, so they fit in with the sampler. So she's small but perfect, I think, and she'll go with Noël Corbinu for my next frame order. And I have at least 3 more Scottish sampler charts, and I have one in mind to kit up and start next. I have another Scottish bag as well that has something in it that's not Scottish, so I'm going to have a bit of a bag sort out and switch around. Yeah, very pleased with how she turned out, and another Scottish sampler will be started soon. I did say to somebody that I'd show it, the one that I choose, and I'd kit it up and everything, but after my day at the hospital yesterday, I have had no time for things like that at all. So that's something that will happen over the next couple of weeks. Maybe I'll show it next time. Okay, a super, super long video. Hopefully you have paused me or got rid of me if you find me boring and you haven't even made it this far, or just enjoyed a longer stitching or knitting time than usual. One more thing to do, and that is the giveaway. So last time when I was all into Saju, which I still am, by the way, I said that I would give away this faux mother of pearl thread winder, because I bought 2 and I've only used one of them. So I did the random comment generator last night, and the winner is, I should put it on my board. What have I done on the board? Goodness only knows. I'm just going to hold it up. Bettina, I'm so pleased that you have won the the thread winder. Bettina has been following me on Instagram for quite a while and has made lots of lovely, encouraging, kind comments on some of my health issues, and on my stitching as well, obviously. And I didn't follow her at first because I don't know why I didn't follow her, because she's a great lady to follow. She produces, well, Bettina, you produce the most beautiful cross-stitch pieces. Very talented stitcher and a knitter as well. I've seen a jumper or two that maybe you've knitted. So I'm really delighted to be able to send this to you. If you just email me, sarah@penelopespocket.co.uk, and let me know your address. I know you're in Germany. I'd be so happy to be able to send this to you, and I'm so pleased that you want it. There might be a link on my website. I should know that, shouldn't I? If you go on the website, there may well be a link to contact me, but if not, it's easy enough anyway. So please send me an email with your details so that I can get it in the post to you. Congratulations. Really pleased that you won it. Right, time to go. Thank you so much for watching again. Please comment. Going back to not following Bettina, I have quite a lot of followers on Instagram and I don't follow that many people myself. I am appreciative of everybody that follows me and everybody that comments. I don't know how people follow so many accounts. I spend far too much time on Instagram. I do read everything that everybody says. I don't just scroll through it. I read, I comment, I like, and that takes quite a lot of time. I like that interaction, but I can't imagine following so many people and being able to have that interaction. So please don't be offended if I don't follow you back. It is literally just a time constraint. Or sometimes I found that people have private accounts, and once or twice I've followed and they are very personal accounts and not necessarily connected to their stitching, and it's the stitching that I'm interested in, although I do like reading about personal things as well. I feel like I'm treading on difficult ground here, but the comments on and the connection that I'm getting through this YouTube is lovely. I'm loving the comments. I'm loving answering the comments and the connections that we're making, and so please do those things, like, subscribe, comment, because that's lovely. I'm enjoying it. But this is long and I am going to say goodbye. A couple of weeks and I'll see you again. Thank you so much for joining me again. Bye.